Welcome to episode number 2. And today we got Ibrahim Apia, man himself, also known as Kofi. He's a techie at heart who works at UiPath, travel all the world. This guy been to places. Trust me, he's been to places. And he's a basketball fanatic. Tall, 6'6", what?
6'6".
6'6", bro. Hey, to the ladies, 6'6". You heard that. We're super excited to have him at Limitless today. Another conversation about mindfulness, fitness, and relationship building. Kofi is somebody who embodies that. I've known him for a while, and we're super excited to have him here. And I turn on the mic, and this guy's smiling. Why are you always smiling, bro? Talk to us. Why are you always smiling?
Man, honestly, first and foremost, thanks for having me. Very appreciative to be on here. To answer the question, why am I always smiling? To be honest, I've been told this a lot. Someone pointed out the other day and was like, I feel like you always smile when you're awkward, when you're happy, when you're sad. Every emotion seems to be a smile. It's like as if a coping mechanism of some sort. And I thought about it for a second and I was like, you know what? You might be right. You might be. But the way I look at my smiling is different in a little bit perspective because being black and being tall and 6'6", I've used smiling as a way to de-escalate and soften my presence. Whether something is going on, it just gives people more of an inviting personality, right? Because you never know. You see someone, first of all, they're tall, so it's like, whoa. Second of all, they're black. It's been a thing. So it's like when you see a smile, it's more inviting. It's more approachable. So I've used a smile and it maybe has stuck throughout my life now, where now everything is just a smile, and I genuinely laugh because I'm smiling. And like I said, to that first comment that I've got, maybe it's true, and there might be some truth to it. But that's how I've used smiling in my own perspective. It's just how to
Hmm.
soften my presence and be less threatening, if there may be a case for being less threatened. I smile, so that's more inviting.
Okay. Quick question. How did you realize that it might be a coping mechanism? Like, at what point do you feel like, oh, am I smiling to overcome my nervousness, or am I smiling to have an open invitation for people to come say what's up with me? Or does that based on situation to situation? Because that's a part of mindfulness, being aware
Absolutely.
of, when and how I'm using my smile at what point. How did you get to kind of like figure that out?
Yeah, I think the time where I realized this was more of a de-escalating was when I realized I was black. And you know what, I say that jokingly, but it's true. It's like you put yourself in so much situation where like the minute I became 6'6" and was black is when I decided that like it's when I realized that that's what I was doing unintentionally because it just was how do I find ways to be more approachable? How do I find ways to be more inviting? And so that's what I just started been doing. But I think the difference between when did I realize this was a coping mechanism? I think when I was in university, that's when I realized it was a coping mechanism because whenever like whether you're dating someone or have friends or any situation you're put in, I realized I always smile. Whether I was nervous or excited, that feeling was always the same. It's always a big smile on my face. And people always say, um, it's not the general public, but the people that are close to me would know when I was in a mood because I didn't have a smile on my face. It's to the point where I couldn't
Ah.
keep that smile on anymore to the point where it's like, what's wrong? Because that copanism cannot be upheld anymore. And so now I couldn't do it. So every time there wasn't a smile, I was like, Ibrahim, I know you. What's going on? Like, what's happening? And that would live in hell out of me because in my mind I was fine, but I know I wasn't
Yeah.
because I couldn't uphold that anymore. And so I think that's when those two realization came.
All right. Okay, guys, you know him now. If you don't see him smiling, he's still good. If you see him smiling, he is still good. So at the end of the day, just make sure you catch him on a good day because he might be smiling, he might not be smiling. We don't know. But good to know, brother. Welcome. Welcome to the pod. We appreciate you. And we're just going to dive into like a little bit of your background real quick. UI path, traveler, basketball. What do you find meaningful about joining all these worlds together? Like, tell us a little bit about your work, a little bit about your travel experiences, and why you kind of got into basketball.
Yeah, that's a loaded question, but there's so much areas we can go, and that's fine. I'll go with the first thing that comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
Why basketball? Basketball is one thing that kept us out of trouble. Growing up, it was like that's the thing that everyone did. you'd always had a basketball. And I remember the days where you always had shorts under your pants. At any point in time, you were ready to play basketball.
I'm
So
ready
we
for
could,
smoke. I'm ready
yeah,
for
at any point
smoke.
in time, everyone had shorts under their pants because you could just go right into it and play. We play for hours and hours and hours, even when the lights went down at the school, and we play. And at one point, we realized that basketball was a tool and a vehicle for us to go further in life. Whether that was university, NBA, we all had the dream to play NBA, right? That was everyone's main goal. And so
Mm,
that's why we joined basketball. Everyone around me, around the community, my brothers, everyone played basketball. So that's why we went to it. Now, traveling was part of basketball, right? It was a way to actually go places. And once I start doing that, I realized how big the world was and how much I love traveling, how much I love seeing new culture, experience new things. And so when I had the first opportunity to do that on my own, always stuck, right? Remember I was back, even when
mm,
I was in university, I would go on a trip with one of my teammates and we'd go to like, for example, Mexico or something like that. And I would just be ecstatic about just like the different things you can experience, different things you can see, and the way it opened up your mind to just adaptivity. Like I grew up in places where multiculturalism was huge. Like right, this was a diverse group of people, but to experience that group of people in their hometown was a whole game changer. Because now it all made sense why they acted a certain way, why they did things a certain way. And so now I was just fueled by understanding and wanting to experience that more on a larger scale. And so that's
mm,
what the fueling fire was. Think about it. You're in elementary school and everyone's different from each other, right? I have
mm,
my own
mm.
culture. The Asians have their own culture. Everyone has different things they do. And so now
Yeah.
you're just confused. Now I throw you in that environment and I say, okay, this is why you do the things you
Mm,
do. Now it's easier. Now that helps because when you come back to reality and meet different people, you can start how to mold and understand conversations, right? How to talk to people
mm.
better, how to be more empathetic in certain things. It just opens up your mind and you're less closed minded to accepting things. So,
I
yeah,
love that. I love that. And I'll take you back to like a point that you mentioned where you said you started playing basketball as a way out, as a way to keep yourself busy, as a way to kind of like motivate yourself to stay out of trouble. And then you realize this basketball is going to allow me to travel. And this traveling aspect is what allowed me to see the world differently. So you joined your fitness, which is what you were doing to stay fit at a very young age before you even know it. And then before you know it, you're cultivating relationship building, which is kind of like meeting new people in different cultures. And then you're also mindful of the fact that, oh, this is how the world works, yada, yada, yada. So that's why we wanted you on the pod because your world is literally mindfulness, fitness, and meditation, relationship building. So I'm super glad that you shared that. And I've known you for a while, but I didn't know that's how it started. So
yeah.
take us through the journey of basketball. And this is your fitness aspect. How did you realize that you were good at it? Like, was it just because of your height? Like, talk to us. How'd you do
Oh
that?
man. I mean, I started out playing soccer and then basketball became a thing. It's just like in the neighborhood, we would play. Everyone, my brothers, our community, everybody, basketball's just part of us, right? We just played all the time. Like I told you, we had shorts on that thing. When did
Mm,
I realize I was good? I think probably high school when I played on the varsity team, right?
mm,
And we all played in the same basketball program in Montreal. It's
mm,
called Sun Youth. We all will play. We're all the same group of friends. We take the bus together and go to the games. And
mm,
then that's when we all realized we had skills. We were super competitive with each other. We would ball all day, all night. It was crazy. And so when we had older folks go to university and stuff and playing, we were like, okay, we want to be just like that. We want to be in the same group. So we all had that same drive. And so whether we were good or not, we had the drive to be good. And so that's the first step. It's like, okay, what do I need to do now? And then we had great mentors. I think that we got to dedicate that aspect of drive and wanting to be great to our mentors that we had growing up, right? We had good
mm,
mentors that just like literally they were like the father of the neighborhood we were in. And they would just bring
mm.
balls, bring water, make sure we all had and stay out of trouble. And their friend's mom would just keep us out of trouble. And that was the thing that kept us. And then we had good coaches. Good coaches is what definitely pushed us. There's so much aspect to it that like it's
It's
not
yeah.
it's not just one point in time, but it's everything that encompasses the coach, the family, the friends, the neighborhood, the surroundings, the interaction, the people we met. All of that had an impact on us wanting to be great, us becoming good or great, those who became great. right? That all had a major impact on that journey for to then realize that basketball is a tool, and it's a tool wherever you want to use it. If it's a tool for you to become successful in playing that game, or a tool, a vehicle for you to get an education, tool, whatever. I think I understood that aspect of basketball as a tool and not life later before going to university. That's when I got hurt, right? And I realized it's like this is when you gotta realize that the thing you've been given can also be taken
Mm.
away. So if you don't take full
Mm.
advantage of the opportunity and the environment which you're in to make the most out of it, and it's not just basketball, then if I take that basketball away, what do you have? And so that's when basketball became a tool and a vehicle rather than life, because basketball lets you see things. It makes you meet people. It makes you so many different aspects of it. And I met so many people because I remember when I was playing for Champlain at the time. It's called CGF, the CGF in Montreal. We had the opportunity to do what we call it's like an internship, right?
Mm.
And everyone had to pick an internship they wanted to do. So I worked at the BC Cancer, BC Montreal Children's Hospital Foundation, and I met this one guy. He's our head of finance at the time, called Gilbert Tordman. He taught me so much about finance in that short intern that carried me throughout my entire life today. And
Wow.
if I hadn't met this person, the concept of finance and concept of investing, concept of all these things, I wouldn't have thought about it. But he gave me the best piece of advice I ever got to this day. And I always share it to everybody else because, again, basketball was a vehicle that I used in order to get to where I wanted and expand. And so
Yeah.
I'll share this piece of advice because why not? My education was paid for, right, for school.
Mm.
And so he said, if you can, you're going to get money from the government regardless, whether it's a loan or a bursary or whatever. It's the one source of income that you can get that it'll be tax free until, well, not tax free, but interest free. Basically, it's a free loan for you because your education is paid for. And so you can take that money, invest that money, and give me a few stocks to invest in. It was funny. I was like, I have no idea what it's talking about, but I did it anyways. And then while
Mm.
investing, while I was in school, that money just kept interest for the 5 years I was going, right? Or however long I went to school for. But this money takes forever.
Yeah.
And when you graduate, and then when you graduate, you just basically got a free loan to invest in. You gain interest on it and pay the government back their money. And mind you,
Wow.
this was at the brink at the beginning where there's the Facebook, the Teslas, all these major big fintech, not even
Mm.
fintech, big
Mm.
tech companies coming out. And so at the time, like I said, I just put money in there and left it. And when I graduated, and I had more money coming out of university than I had going in.
All right. I'm we're back.
You're
Technical
flabbergasted.
issues.
You're flabbergasted.
Technical
It happens.
issues.
Trust me, story of my life.
Yeah, but that actually takes me to the question of like there was a point you said how when you got hurt and you were pursuing this basketball dream, um do you feel like at that point in your life you had an identity that was based on you playing basketball? And if so, when you get hurt, where you've built this reputation, this persona of being a great basketball player, how does that affect you in moving forward in life and crafting like some sort of new identity?
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna take this answer by taking a step back because
Mm.
I was kind of a unique one out of our group, right?
Mm.
I was the smart one, as they would classify me or whatever. Like out of the group, I was smart. I was good at school, and so growing up, I always had this intention of being good at something, and that's educational wise. Basketball was good, and I realized I was good because of the people I played with, and I could sustain that. And I was good amongst them. We played together, and like that was a good thing. But my unique experience was the fact that I was smart in school, and so when I was in the high school and doing all these advanced math and all these things, like I had that intention of doing something, whether it was a doctor. My original thing was I was going to be a doctor.
Mm.
Engineering was something I was naturally good at. from a very young age where I can take up a part, iron, and put it back together at the age of 4, 5, 6, that sort of thing, right? So I was really good with my hands, and I was very curious. So if you ask my family member, everyone would say, this guy's always touching everything. He's always curious about everything. And so there was this always an inclination that I was going to do something school related. Now, basketball was something we all did, and I did and I wanted to do it, but I realized that when I truly, really understand what that meant is when I got hurt in university. But
Mm.
before that, I always was hurt and I was wanting to, my intention was go to Ivy League school, right? And I had the chance to go to Ivy League. So the only problem was they didn't give full scholarship. And so I didn't come from a family who can actually afford to pay for my school. So I had to go settle for the next thing. So when, to go back to your answer about how getting hurt and that aspect of it, when I got to university, you know, you get that you're good, you're playing, whatever, all this stuff. You like the intention there is you think you're on top of the world, right? You think you're on top of the world, you're invincible, and everything's going great, and then you get hit with injury. Injury is the detriment to everything, and that's when I realized it's like that's when I sat down and I realized I couldn't play 6 months down, right? You're just watching everyone playing, have fun, and you're just sitting there and crush yourself at the top. So that's when I started really thinking and understanding. It's like, man, like imagine if this all I had going for myself. Like what would I do? Like I have no identity. So my identity was sort of predestined when I was younger, and it was the guy that did everything. Like literally, I was always the guy that did everything, but I lost track of that a little bit when I was playing sport because sports is always the mindset. So what that did for me is it brought me back to the main focus was the guy that did everything. And so then I reconnected with that identity of being able to do or think to myself that I could do everything. And so I did. So that's when I started drawing. I picked up a pencil during that time when I got hurt as a coping mechanism, actually, and realized that I was good at it. And then I started thinking about other things, and I was like, okay, well, in that case, let me try my luck at playing music, learn music, and all these things. Like it's all these things that my identity became, where it's like I wanted to be more than just basketball. But that's when it really solidified that point where I really wanted to be more than just basketball because basketball was not something I could identify myself anymore because I just got hurt, and that can easily be taken away from me. And so I started
Mm.
building things outside of that, right? My engineering degree, I started focusing more with my friends at engineering because I was a student athlete, right? So my friends were always the student athletes. And then I'd go to class and my class was literally like in and out. I come in and out. Like I had one lab partner in school and he was also an athlete. He was a lacrosse player. The only time we could meet to do our labs was like 11 p.m. on a Sunday when we both came back from sports. And so we would do that till like 3 a.m. right? And so
Yeah.
you kind of lose you kind of from the regular people you're identified as the basketball player. Like among my
Mm.
peers in class, I was always a basketball player. And this this story I will never forget. My first year at university, I go to class among I don't know, I think it was maybe I'm not sure if it was a big audience. It was maybe like 100 people, and I walk into class, and the teacher goes, "Hey, sorry, are you lost?" I'm like, "No, I'm in this class." She goes, "Are you sure you lost?" And I peeped her for a second. I was like, "Wait a minute, what? No,
Like
this
what?
is my
What is
class."
this thing?
Yeah, like, wait a minute, what? Am I not supposed to be here? Then I peeped it and I realized I'm like, I know what she meant. Like, I didn't look like I belonged there, which is true because I was a student athlete with my basketball shirt on and everything in an engineering class. So, so
That's hilarious.
it made sense, and I caught it, and I was like, "Oh, I get it. I'm a basketball player. I shouldn't be in an engineering class. I get it. Oh no, but I'm here.
Oh, so
Yeah,
actually, that's a very good connector to like what you just said. How you were a student athlete, and then you started after injury, you started diving into this other activities that you felt like gave you a lease of creative juices flowing. Like it allowed you
yeah,
to like tap into facets of yourself that you hadn't tapped into due to the fact that you just identified with basketball. How do you deal with the fact that you were trying so many things, like photography, art, music, engineering, how do you stay calm in the midst of trying to learn all these different avenues, and how do you come to the conclusion that I want to be a master of all, but not like a master of one? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think going to that during university, my mindset was not become a master of all.
Mm,
My motto in life is don't knock it till you try it, right? And that's my motto. I don't knock it till I try it. And I try it before I knock it. I didn't want to be great at all of them. I just wanted to try because it made me understand what people that do those things did and thought and process they went into it. Because one thing I realized about trying things, it gives you talking point to relate to people. You're very more
mm,
easily relatable to, and adaptable to multiple people. If you put me in a
mm-hmm,
room, regardless of the room, I can have something to talk to someone about. Right now, you don't need a million things. It's just understanding the lingo, right? Like whether you're talking to artists that are singing, artists and musicians, or artists that draw, or it's stockbrokers or finance bros, whatever that may be, you have something that you've tried and understand that you can have as a conversation piece to talk to them about. Because that's all what
mm-hmm.
consultations are. And so when I was in university, I just wanted to understand the different facets. And so I started drawing because I just wanted to try it out. Music, because I wanted to try it out. I only realized life later that that became a superpower in the sense that it was later in life is when I understood that the things that I tried only helped me now to be able to talk and fit in different rooms because I had tried it before. But no, by no means did I go in there with the mindset of being great at all of them.
Ah, that is the best thing you've ever shared, because I have never looked at it from that perspective. And understanding the fact that you weren't trying to be great at what you were trying to do, you were just trying from an innocent place. Like, let me just give it a shot. Let me try. I'm interested. I'm curious. That curiosity from you as a kid, picking things
Yeah.
apart, putting it back together. Now you're like, maybe if I pick up a pen and try to draw this, and then before you know it, I love that for you. And like, from knowing you, I've seen the way you interact with people in rooms and the way you present yourself and how you can have a conversation with literally anybody. Now that tell it gives me a background of how that came to be, which brings me to my next question, which is like the aspect of how you've built your relationships over time, both professional, personal, romantic, relationships. Highlight some of the key relationships that have shaped you to be the person that you are. I know there's a lot, but if you were just to kind of like do a quick scan and say that relationship actually changed me, or even like the relationship with your family, like, we that's the first institution we normally associate uh ourselves with, being in a relationship. It's the family that we grow up in. So if you can just dive deep a little bit about relationships, then we could take it from there.
Oh man, that is
Hey,
relationship.
you gave me an alley oop. I went for the slam dunk. That's all I'm saying. So,
Oh man, you know what? Um,
hey, yo, if he don't mention you, you better call him out.
honestly, relationships I think was it's probably the most important part of life, right? Um, because that's all you have constantly. I think the ones that had the most impact in my life was family for sure. Um, because without them I wouldn't be where I am, and they shaped me constantly. Like a lot of time people always ask what your love language is and what so on and whatnot, right?
Mm,
Coming from African culture, maybe you may know this, may not, but like my mom has never told me she loves me, but I will never question whether she loves me or not, right? And so that shaped me to understand that even growing like in my own personal relationship with people, what you say is not what I value the most, is what you do for me, right? It becomes more like act of service. And that's what shaped me. And I always think back to myself and like that people always say, it's a word without action means nothing to me. It's like if you don't do something what you said, I'm like, okay, great. I wouldn't really trust it or value it. Um, and then,
let me pause you there
yeah,
for a second. There's something I
sure.
want to share with you, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. I love the fact that I had a conversation with somebody recently, and she told me love is a verb. She views love as a verb. It's a
Mm,
doing. It's a doing word. Like you have to
mm,
do to love. Let's go
mm,
back to this concept of being raised in an African family. I recently discovered something called love mechanic. This is
mm,
how you are shaped to love other people based on how you were loved as a kid.
mm.
Now, a lot of African cultures, we're not vocal about saying I love you or
Yeah,
I'm proud of you. You know, it's let me just do something that will show you I love you, right?
yeah.
Now, take it from this perspective of a child. There's a lot of African families, the mother is the enforcer. She's the one who's
Yeah.
disciplining. I at least for me personally, like my mom would whoop my ass, like if I was on some
Oh, I
BS.
remember that.
And
Yep.
there was this concept that shaped my thinking of love without me realizing. So if she comes home, if my mother is stressed, remember our parents didn't grow up in a situation where they have access to this amazing resources for mental health. Like they didn't have, my parents didn't have like, benefits where they could talk to a counselor. They don't even believe in counselor. So uh, there's so much that was kind of like happening in their lives, and you start seeing it as an adult and as you grow up. Let me finish
Yep.
this point before I digress. She comes home, she's stressed, and she's married, they're going through whatever. I've been in relationships, I understand what stress in a relationship is. She takes that stress out on me, but at the end of the night she'll make food and she'll come present a plate for me and expect me to eat the food gracefully, like appreciative. And I was really grateful for that. But then sometimes I wouldn't understand why I was disciplined. Like, why you whoop me? Like, I didn't do nothing. So, like, so you expect me to be good with just you bring me food and I should forget that you just whooped my ass 10 minutes ago? But then I realized that was shaping me to relate love, which, my mother was the symbol of love, like she was the embodiment of love growing up. It made me start thinking that's what love is. Like, there's a little bit of chaos, and then
Mm,
there's a little bit of acts of service which show me that you still care for me. There's a lack of accountability and apologies where I don't have to say sorry, but I expect you to be okay. I expect you to be thankful that I made you food. And then before you know it, that love mechanic is what I carried to my adult relationships. So I mess up and I'm expecting the other person to be okay. I'm like, why are you not forgiving me? I mean, I made you
mm,
breakfast.
mm,
You
mm,
should be good, right? Like, why are you
mm.
not
Yep.
good? So I'm like, it took me 29 years of my life to come and realize, bro, you were not raised the same way as she was raised, and
Hmm.
you cannot enforce your love mechanic onto her. And that's why it's so important to, like, when it comes to relationship, you have to understand how someone was raised, because you're merging two worlds that have never coexisted before. So
Absolutely.
I just wanted to share that because I felt like, growing up in the same kind of like cultural background, it's very important we shed light into the importance of being vocal about how we love people or how we show up for people. Tell people you're proud of them, give people their flowers. And that's what I try to like do now consciously
Mm.
as an adult, grown individual who's done some work. So thanks for
Yeah,
highlighting that.
man.
But yeah,
Thanks
go
for
on with
sharing.
to the next next
No,
to the next
no.
relationship.
Thanks for sharing that because it's very true, right? And
Mm,
like if I look at my own experience, like growing up, like I took that aspect of my mom. My mom is she's a very strong woman. My mom's single mom, right? Because my dad left when I was
mm,
one. So my father figure was my brothers, my uncles, and everybody else that was around me. But I took that same thing you talked about, right? Where, like for me, and this carries on to the second, like relationship later I'll talk about in a second. But growing up, when I was younger, I always kept everything inside because my mom did that. My mom wouldn't like even though she was struggling, she would never tell you she's struggling. You would always have food on the table. You always had what you needed. You would never see the pain. So to me, I did the same. I said, you know what? I'm good. So I would carry everything inside all the time. But what I didn't realize is that maybe in my mind everything was fine, but my outside didn't look fine because the people I cared about could see right through me. The people I
mm,
didn't care about, the strangers, I could put on the smile I was telling you about, right? The smile that I could tell you about, could always see. But the people that I was close to, my
yeah.
goodness, I couldn't. And so that became a mechanism that I carried out through my life. And then not only that later in life when I was in university, that I talking to my ex's mom at the time was a guidance counselor. Um, that I finally opened up for the first time and just dropped everything, right? And then I realized in that moment how powerful it was to speak and express yourself because you're only doing yourself damage. And she created an environment that made it easy, very warm, different from what we're used to. That tough love, that you strong, whatever, or everything will be all right.
Mm,
To more of like,
mm,
no, you're not here alone. You're not doing this alone. Let me help you and let the people around you help you because that's the only
mm,
way you're going to make it through. We're not all, you want self-made. There's no such thing, self-made.
mm,
Everyone does things with help in some shape or form. And when it comes to mental health, you need help. We all do. And then that was the starting point of me going and see someone through just counseling, right? Seeing someone, I think that's the most
mm,
important part of life when it comes to anything is actually having someone you can talk to
mm.
unbiasedly, help you through situations and stuff like that. So I got a shout out to her for sure. 'Cause
Yeah. How did yeah. How did it
that was
feel? Yeah, go ahead.
no, go for it. I was gonna say that was a very important part of life there, that shaped it and definitely definitely hold up to that for sure. Um,
How did that feeling of letting everything go for the first time feel? And once you kind of understood the concept of like you're not supposed to go through this alone, how does that impact your relationship building skills moving forward, where you start to understand like people might be just going through whatever you've been going through and they're not sharing? Like, did you grow more empathy and compassion throughout this whole experience? How did that shape you to build relationships
yeah,
differently?
it definitely made me more compassionate, empathy, right? And I started learning more about like personalities and people and stuff like that because I want to be better at not just listening
Mm,
but being there for people. Because I think there's one thing when people think that, oh, by me being there, I have to be constantly doing something for you or some shape or form. But just your presence alone, just showing up, means a lot to a lot of people, to some
mm,
people, right? And so I started diving into more of mindfulness, and mental health and how to talk to people. So I have a lot of different. I have one book that I really like. Um, that I'll share in a second. But it's 92 ways how to talk to someone. But um, one person that I've got into really enjoying is Brene Brown, where where she talks about vulnerability a lot.
mm,
And I think we're so used to it, whether guys in particular, but now say African men in particular, because that's not a thing for us to be vulnerable. Um, it's not part of the household either.
mm, 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 mm.
Because the only thing that will do is just get you hurt. Um, and funny enough, I realized that it doesn't, vulnerable is actually a strength. Vulnerability is a strength. Not only it helps us with very different facets, but it helps you weed out and not waste your time. Um, because a lot of times we spend our time molding ourselves to certain people and we spend a month, 3 months, 4 months trying to cultivate this person and realize once you start being yourself, that person wasn't for you. But if you come in with your energy and yourself in an authentic way, you'll know right away if that person's for you or not. And if they fuck with you, great. If they don't, well, I saved you and I the time. And that's how you make yourself vulnerable. And who cares, dude? Right? That's like you're better off that way.
130%. I think that's such a powerful thing because like I can't like that's the best thing you've ever shared because I came to realize the same thing. Like there was a persona that I was curating when I was in pain, when I was hurt, when I was trying to like put on this facade, like, hey, we're gonna turn up, we're gonna do this, and like that's the persona that I wanted to carry with me because I felt like it attracted people to me. But I always knew that's not me though. Like I
Yeah.
always knew that's not I didn't grow up like being taught go to the club. That's not what I grew up on. So um oh, the lights just came back. Shout out to God.
I know, right,
Shout out
Chala?
to God for real. But we gonna keep going. So I didn't grow up with,
Pause. You might be able to
the
change your camera down, right?
Yeah, 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 but
Yeah.
I'll
Sorry.
probably
All right.
let it run for a little
Cool.
bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
But I realized like authenticity is the biggest ingredient to creating a life that is truly meaningful for you.
Hmm.
You can
Hmm.
never go wrong by weeding out the chaff right before you kind of separate the real from the fake, right?
Hmm.
It's very
Hmm.
important to show up as yourself, because what that allowed me to do was, okay, this persona that I had prior to like ending a relationship that I was in died, and then I started working on myself. I didn't understand who I was, and that's why I felt like my relationships were facing the same problems. Like whether it's friendship, whether it's romantic, I was seeing the same problems with different people. So I realized the common denominator is Greg. How do I address that? I took some time away to just work on myself, stopped a lot of things, just faced the demons that I had. When I popped back out, shout out to my dog Kenny Kendrick, pop out. So when I popped back out, it was more of like I'm coming out as me. Like I'm coming out
Hmm.
as the version that I truly believe is me. And what changed prior to the persona that I had and the person that I showed up as was the quality of relationships. How people showed up for me was truly a testament to the work that I had put in. So the people who are coming into my life post me realizing who I was or the journey that I had been were more authentic. They were more organic. These are people who would reach out to me, hey, do you want to go to the gym together? Do you want to do this together? Like people who generally care for you outside the realm of like, let's just go have a good time. There's nothing wrong with having a good time, but if that's all we're doing, then I don't think we're coming from a genuine place, because we're
Hmm.
so many, there's different facets of friendship, and also allowing to tier my friendships. Like
Yeah.
there's a tier that I have that, okay, I know I can access this in doing X. I could access this in doing Y. The issue before was I was trying to tier everything into one person
Together.
or into like a
Hmm.
select few of people. And that's not fair to them, because maybe they don't want to do the other stuff that you want to do. And maybe
Yeah.
they don't want to accommodate, they don't have the mental capacity to do other things. So understanding that aspect of authenticity and vulnerability is such a key thing for me as well. So
Yeah. No, that's like sharing that. That's powerful. It's
I
powerful.
appreciate
It's
that. But
powerful.
when it comes to like you being a traveler, you enjoying going to different places, what sort of relationships have you built when you go to a new country and you don't
Man,
know anybody, as a
you know,
solo traveler? How does that
yeah.
impact the relationship with yourself and other people?
Huh. So I have this theory. It's just again, just my own theory. Um, I find people are the most authentic self when they travel. Um, because you have no choice but to be yourself.
Double click on that. I'm curious. Yeah,
But
yeah, keep going.
people, yeah, yeah, people are their most authentic self when they travel. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you travel solo. Because in your own environment, let's say Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, wherever you are, you have this thing you want to upkeep. A lot of people have this persona they want to upkeep, right? But when you're traveling solo to a different country, a different world, you have no choice but to be yourself. What you like, what you don't like, what you may be a part of, whatever. Because it's like now you're like, whoa, but at the same time, you also want to be able to take in stuff. And so whenever I'm traveling, this is where I realized I was truly myself and happy because you have to bring yourself out to who you are to attract
Mm-hmm.
what you want. Because otherwise, if you take this fake persona, you're not going to be able to keep it up for so long because you're not in your
Mm-hmm.
safe environment. You're not in a calm environment. You're in somewhere new. It's different. So you got to show up as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when people I meet when I travel are always the ones that I keep the longest. Like I met my best friends um, when I traveled to my Coachella. We're still friends to this day, and it's crazy because it's when you click with people, you click, and that's why I always tell people it's important to travel and see the world. At least do it as solo travel because you don't have anyone to clutch on or lean on but yourself, and you grow the most. You realize what you like, what you don't like, what you stand for, what you don't like to stand for. A lot of that comes up when you travel on your own. Because imagine you go with
Mm-hmm.
someone, you have a friend or something, you guys always lean on each other. There's these things that you kind of clutch on. Even if another person is good, but a truly solo travel where you got nobody but yourself,
Mm-hmm.
not only is it going to make you think, because a lot of people think, oh, it's great. It's fun and dandy, but it's also a lot of solo time. and that solo time
Yeah.
will make you think.
Oh yeah, you need that space to like be alone in your thoughts. Like when you're taking that
Yeah,
plane by yourself, you don't have anybody to talk to, and then you land and you got to figure out, oh, well,
yeah,
where am I going? And this and that. Those are so many aspects of different challenges, and you're taking yourself into different environments. And
yeah,
again, another conversation I was having with someone, which is so critical to like relationship building, is
yeah,
when we get to meet romantic partners. Like at the beginning, we're just kind of like getting to know them in a very surface level
yeah,
setup, and then you add the doctrine of you know getting intimate with them. It blinds you from putting yourself in on those challenges of like, oh, how do you deal with finance? Oh, how do you deal with conflict when we don't get what we want? Oh, how do you deal with losing a friend? How do you deal? Because the initial phase, we're just kind of like going on dates, chilling, doing all this thing. Like you just have a crush to do all these things with, but you add sex into that, then the blinders are on. You don't even know who you're dealing with, but you just met this person. So like 8 months, 9 months, 10 months down the line, that's when you start realizing like, wait a minute, this is how you think? It's too late, bro. You already hopped onto the flight. So it's like now you're stuck with somebody that you don't really mess with like that because you didn't take the
yeah,
time to get to know them. And like
yeah,
as you navigate like life, you start realizing, bro, like you need to get to know people like in different situations. Going
yeah,
back to your point, you grow the most when you're solo traveling because now you're exposing yourself to different environments and different situations that allow you to think differently. Like,
yeah,
oh, okay, how am I supposed to figure out where my Airbnb is? Do they have Uber here? Am I, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I've never done a solo travel, but I take it up as a challenge to do that. Since the perspective you shared makes a lot of sense, and
yeah.
I just want to touch base like on your best friend. Like when you met at Coachella, like did you have a rough idea this was going to be somebody that I mess with for the rest of my life type thing, or it?
Honestly, no, because like when you go to Coachella, you're just having fun, right? It's all fun and
Mhm.
games, but it was the interactions after that where it became a more consistent. It was a consistent, like let's meet up. Hey, come to Fourth of July. Hey, stay at my place. Hey, this, let's do that. Hey, by the way, I'm going to thing next week. You want? I think that was even the part where the like, yeah, why not attitude started, right? And it started, I think, in 2015, where the attitude of like, yeah, why not? Like, why not? Like, say yes to everything. Opportunities in life. Like, the only thing you can say yes to is experiences because you can't buy that back. You can't buy an experience, right? It happens or it doesn't. I can't go back and say I should have said yes to it. And so it would happen where it would be like, hey man, this weekend we're going to Mexico. You want to come? And at that point, I was still a little. I was like, you know what? The first time I said, you know what? Yeah, and that was the hard. That was the I would say the ripple effect of me not being able to say no to a lot of things, and then
Yeah, yeah,
I said yes all the time because I realized what the advantages was. I realized how fun it was, like the things that I would go through to experience just by saying yes, right? And I'm not saying say yes to dumb stuff, but say yes to experiences that can bring you value. If all you're worried about is whether do I spend $100 for this weekend or spend $100 on this trip, I'm spending $100 on the trip. So you know what? I spend on most of the experience because I can't buy. You can't just buy an experience. That's the authenticity of just going with the flow. That's so
yeah.
awesome.
I
And
love
so
that. I love
yeah.
that. I love
So
the
those
fact that
friends I
you
didn't
said,
know. Yeah, those friends I didn't know was gonna be longtime friends until that sort of circle started happening. That cycle of yes, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that, and you realize that even if you didn't talk to them for 5 months and you picked it back up, it was just as if you had met yesterday. That was when you realize that you're gonna have those friends forever, and that was the beauty of it.
I love that, man. Like the attitude of why not, and just like how this relationship was nurtured. It just wasn't coming from a place of, oh, he's hitting you up, and you just kind of thinking like, maybe why not? Why not? It was more of like, oh, you want to come to Toronto? You want to come to Vancouver? You want to come over here? Like, it takes two to tangle, right?
Yeah,
Like when you're traveling to these places together, that means like there's a nurturing of an organic relationship happening, which I feel like as you navigate your 20s or like when you're younger, it's like it, a lot of us like come from a selfish mindset where we're really thinking it's just me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
Um, Especially when you're sort of like in a survival mode where you're trying to figure things out. It's very hard to have the capacity to expose yourself to other people because you don't even have the capacity to hold yourself. So
Mm,
it becomes really hard to nurture yourself and give yourself to other people. But I like the fact that at that point you had already known that, hey, why not? Shout out to Westbrook. Why not? Like, just why not?
yeah.
And I feel like that's a mentality a lot of people should adopt. I personally struggle with the concept of why not. Just waking up and say, I've been thinking about doing this, but lately, over the summer, I've been trying to do that a little bit more. Go out, meet people after work. Like I never used to do that. I'm such a
Hmm.
routine guy that I feel like if I deviate, I don't have that balance.
Yeah.
Right? And now when that comes to me asking you, like, how do you navigate why not? And maybe this is not the season for that. Let me lock in. Because there has to be some sort of balance on your spectrum where you're not just saying overly, you're not just saying yes to everything, because that can come off as people pleasing as well.
Yeah.
But how do you navigate to balance yourself and stay regulated?
Yeah. I think there's a certain aspect of say yes that I do. And it's like, is this something that I've always wanted to do? Is something I want to do? There's a difference between saying being a yes man, saying yes to everything, or
Mm,
saying yes to things that you think can bring value to you. If someone's asking me, "Hey, we're going on a trip this weekend. You want to come?" To me, the trip is there a place I want to go see? Or who are these people? Do I know them? Do I not? Like, there's the aspect of what value does this bring to me? Will I do this otherwise myself? Like, there's all these little things that I think about before, and if it doesn't bring me value, then I'll say no, right? I think when we're younger, in our 20s or whatever it may be, we just want to have fun. The thing is just have fun. Party, party, party. We don't really care about the relationships we're meeting. It's like, we'll say yes to everybody. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We just want to make as much friends as possible. The older you get, you realize it's not about having a lot of friends. It's about having good people around you with good energy.
mm,
Because one thing we start realizing, I don't know if this was just in Vancouver, but specifically in Vancouver, you realize your friends that you have, they're friends for specific things. You got friends for going out. You got friends to go and eat. You have friends for activities. You have friends for different things. They don't really merge together.
mm,
And I find that really unfortunate. But then, um, in Toronto, the friends that I have, it's friends you can do pretty much all those things together. And the friends that I travel with, also the friends that you can do those things together. It's just not like I'm only going to call you to hoop. I'm only going to call you for dinner. I'm only going to call you for party. You want those friends that you can do all those things with because that's going to help you when they ask you, let's do this. You're more inclined to say yes because then you're not stressing yourself too thin. Because these are the friends that I know have my best interest at heart, and they're not just there for the one activity or the two activities that I have. It's people you can build and grow and continue to push yourself. So,
I think you decoded something really deeper than a lot of people might realize, which is the feeling of being alone in Vancouver. As you said, like there's this thing that I'm only gonna hit you up when I want to hike with you because that's your role in my life, and then I'm
yeah,
only gonna go for food with you because that's what we do. But that inability to merge these groups can stem from different personalities. That's okay, but it can't be everyone feels that way because what that does it inhibits us from forming communities.
yeah,
Like what you're talking about is community, and if you
yeah,
look at the hierarchy of needs, community is one of the biggest ones on that flow. And a lot of people here say they feel depressed or they
mm,
feel like they don't have a sense of community. And I tell them all the time, like, bro, it's because I don't know if it's the city. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't grow up here, but just staying here for almost 10 years now, I'm like, it hasn't changed. Like it's still
yeah,
the same thing, and it's very demoralizing. But I also feel like you have to go out of your way to start seeking this community because everyone wants people to come to them, but they're not ready
yeah,
to go out and meet people. And I feel
yeah,
like that's a this city thing because you go to the East Coast I just came back from Houston the other time.
yeah,
I was there for like a weekend, but I could see the energy of people wanting to meet people.
yeah,
Everyone is open to meeting people, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just the air here because
It might be an East Coast, West Coast thing too,
It
right?
might be East Coast, West Coast
Slow
thing, yeah.
pace, slow pace, fast pace, right? And
Hmm.
you take big cities where it's a bigger, much metropolitan. There's more people from outside, right? There's more foreign people than people that actually grew up and live. For example, Vancouver, Toronto's people from everywhere. So when you get there, you have people that are also trying to meet each other. There's not all like everyone's from everywhere, so everyone's trying to meet and do something. Versus like here in Vancouver, it's like I got my friends I went to high school with. I don't need more friends, right? Like I don't need new friends. And if you get to our group, great, but you can come play basketball with us, and that's about it. We're gonna go hiking tomorrow. You want to come? That's about it. But like, if I ask you in Vancouver and I ask you, yo, Greg, what are you doing this weekend? You'll be like, yo, actually, you know what? I'm going to barbecue with my friends and I'm gonna go hiking afterwards, and that's it. That's what you'll tell me. But if it's in Toronto, for example, people will be like, hey, what are you doing? The response will be, hey, I'm going hiking this. I'm doing this. Would you like to come? The
Mm,
invitation would actually be extended to you. But in Vancouver, it ends there. Even if we're friends, you and I are friends, Greg, and I ask you, what are you doing this weekend? You won't even
mm,
extend the invitation to me. You'll just leave it at that. But with East Coast, people are more likely to extend the invitation to you, and then you come prove yourself. Whether you stick, great. If you don't, well, hey, that was on you. But
that
there,
was
it feels like
you.
people are gatekeeping their friends and their circle because it's secret, right? I
Yeah.
think so. So that's what tends to happen. I feel, at least my observation.
That's actually a solid observation, and I think I'm gonna change my perspective when I'm reaching out to people. I think that's a very good thing, a good challenge to like try extend invitations for people to come. It's just it's and also you to go to people. It's just not about people coming to you. You have to also
Hmm.
extend, and that's how you build community. One of the last topics I want to touch on is like with the topic of friendships and relationships. Like when you get to like a point where you're going through a breakup or when you're going through like a loss of friendship, how do you deal with that, and what are some of the mechanisms that you've learned over time are necessary to cultivate better relationships and better friendships in general?
I think talking. Um,
Mm,
Spend time mourning that loss. Like, be in it, accept it, let it happen, let it sink in, but don't dwell on it. And reach out to the people around you. Because I find a lot of time we just stay in our own heads
mm,
about what happened, what could have, what would have been, whatever, that sort of thing. We just drive ourselves crazy. And reaching out to the people that are closest to you. And remember, like you said, the thing that happened, we talked about, you can't have one person be your everything. You need
mm,
different people in your life that serve different purpose. You have a therapist for a reason. You have a mom to mom. You have a dad. You have whatever. Those people serve a role in that growing up part of your life. Don't expect them to be everything for you when it comes to those things in terms of matter of the heart or whatever. And I think it's like leaning to those people for those certain things helps understand how I approach the next relationship. But I find that I always approach it always the same way as me. And I go in as me. And if it doesn't serve and it doesn't, life happens. Not everyone's going to be for you. Not everyone. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be for everyone. So now when I approach things, I always approach it as like, just be honest with me. If you fuck with me, tell me you fuck with me. If you don't fuck with me, just tell me you don't fuck with me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I understand that in this world, I'm not meant for everybody, and nor are you meant for me. But I'm telling you, if that's the case, I'd rather know now than we wishy-washying and pretending, and then it becomes really awkward. So that's how I approach things. Like I said, going vulnerable. I mean, there's also this aspect of how much vulnerability we're talking about, right? I'm not saying go in and tell your whole life story about the person, but be authentic. Tell people how you feel, right? I'm not telling you to go love bomb somebody, but if you care for someone, tell them you care for them. Appreciate someone, tell them you appreciate them. But I feel like now we play this like la-di-da game where it's like I'm not gonna call too much someone too often. I'm gonna wait 10 hours to respond to someone. Everyone says, "Oh,
mental
sorry, I'm busy."
gymnastics,
Oh my
bro.
gosh,
Oh
bro, it,
my
it drives me
god,
insane, man. It
bro.
drives me insane.
Like how what, bro? Are we in high school, bro? Like,
It drives me
oh
insane,
my
man.
god. Lord have mercy.
It drives me insane, man. It's like, oh no, sorry, I was busy. Nobody's that busy. Like, even if you took 2 seconds and say, hey, man, I'm actually working now. Can I talk to you later? Great. Boom. Like, like Greg messaged me, sorry, hey, I'm working right now. I'm gonna text you back. Boom, later. Just respond back, show that you care, because God knows we're all on our fucking phones. We're all, unless you're a pilot on the air somewhere, you're a doctor, a surgeon somewhere where you can't have access to your phone. You have access to your phone, and it's like it's not that deep. The saying goes: if someone truly cares about you, they'll make time. They'll find time. Um,
I think the biggest, I tell my boy this all the time. The biggest way I kind of just go about it, man, just go where you wanted. Just go where
yeah,
you
exactly.
wanted.
Right.
Like it literally boils down to, are you reciprocating the energy? And when I say
Yeah.
reciprocation, it's not like do me, I do you. It's more of like that open communication where it's like, hey, I'm busy right now, but can we talk at 4 5 p.m.? I'll be free from,
Yeah.
this and that. It's a quick
Yeah.
text, it's mindful, it's very organic. It's, it tells me that you care for my time, because Lord knows, as
Yeah.
you say, we're all on our phones. So I when I started dating again, one of the things I told myself is, I am not gonna bother doing mental gymnastics. You can go to the Olympics to play that, because I'm not doing that. Like, the Olympics just ended.
Yeah.
They should get a category for like mental gymnastics. Y'all
Yeah.
really got fucking gold medals waiting for you, bro. I told myself, hey man, if you show me that you're trying to do mental gym, I'm good, love. Trust, I'm good. There's no Love Island, bro. I'm not doing none of that. So, uh, I think that I appreciate the fact that you said go as you, be you, and whoever sticks sticks. We have a lot of super glue connections.
Yeah.
They give you the illusion that people are sticking, but actually they're not, because we're not
Mhm.
really taking the time to authentically get to know people. So I
No.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. And a quick recap. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's important. Like when you talk about relationship, it's like have the tough conversation early. Like have it early. The surface question doesn't get us anywhere. And it's like get deep as early as you can because then you'll know how a person thinks. Like ask the tough questions. Because if you don't want to waste their time and waste your time, it's important and it's very it's like the glue that's going to keep you together or not. And like you go back to gymnastics you talked about. Nobody wants to play gymnastics. People
Nah.
always say, "Oh, I want to be pursued." Sure, you can be pursued, but show some interest. And if that's interest not shown, no one's gonna keep playing. Nah, it's just a whole blah blah blah
I, I I
blah.
I think that's a whole different conversation, because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, like, man, we want to pursue, we want to, like, we driven, we want purpose, we want this. The
yep,
feminine energy is open to receiving. I get all of that, but bro, I'm not coming here to just don't get me started on this conversation. I might have to shut down
man.
this pod before it
I
even
know,
takes
right?
off.
I
So
was saying, I was gonna say, I was
I
about to say a few
don't.
things. I was about to say a few things. I was
Hey,
like,
hey,
oh,
hey,
it's
hey,
recording.
hey, 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 simmer down, simmer down. Remember, we're here to promote mindfulness,
Yeah, you're
fitness,
right. No,
and
you're right. You're
relationship building.
right.
So let's keep it PG. Let's keep
Yeah,
it
let's keep it
PG, but
PG. Yeah.
we can always dive into that conversation another day. But
Absolutely right, man.
hey man, like, some great insights you shared, Kofi. We appreciate you for coming through. Busy day, busy guy. We know you got your job, you got your travel, you got, when's your next trip? Where you go?
Actually, I'm traveling for work next week, actually. So I'm going to Houston and then back to Calgary and then just a bunch of other stuff. But
Shout out to Houston,
my next
Texas.
personal trips, my next personal trip, Shout out Houston, Texas.
Shout out to
Personal
Houston,
trip is
Texas.
Mexico, then Colombia, and then back to Brazil. So got those three coming up. The rest of them is just like travel for work in North America. So that'll
That's
be,
what's up, bro. I love
yeah.
that. I love that. We'll be on the gram. On that note, where can people find you to see this travel adventures? What
Oh,
avenues do you share them?
mostly on Instagram. I've
Mm-hmm.
been quiet lately on there, but usually it's on there. IBS, APPIH is my handle. That's usually where you can
Link
find
in bio. I'm gonna link that shit over
it.
there. Yeah, he
Yeah,
got good travel
and
content. I advocate
it's
for it.
funny though. I even totally forgot, and it'll slip my mind. Right? It's like travel photography was a big part of that too. It was
Mm.
like because drawing when I started being creative, drawing was a very solo activity. And I wanted to connect with people. And so the only way to connect with people on a larger scale and have an impact was through photography. And then when I started doing photography, I started meeting people, and the wow factor of capturing someone in a moment was contagious. So then I was like, man, how do I show the same impact with places that I go, people that I meet? How do I capture that into one single moment so I can share with other people? And photography became the avenue that just boom, um, and then it just never stopped. So it was cool.
Man, I love the fact that your stories just kind of start from like a tiny little seed, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, I'm actually doing this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually doing this, and I feel like a lot of people need to understand that. Like, we don't get. I have no experience hosting a pod style interview. Zero.
Mhm,
Like, I'm
mhm.
actually just guessing. Like,
Yeah. That's the
um,
beauty of it.
yeah, and it's like as I continue guessing, I'm like, I'm starting to like realize, oh, maybe I should have done this a little bit better. Oh, maybe next time when I get another guest, this is what I'll do. Yada yada yada. Um, but it's the beauty of it, as you said, it's the beauty of it.
It's the beauty, man. It's the process. The process is a lot better than the destination. And you'll realize that the mistakes you make, the authenticity of it, it's what's all about. And I remember photography, like everything that I've done, even me myself, I surprise myself all the time. Like I literally feel like an onion. I've tried so many things. And the reason why I tried so many things is because I came from nothing. And so I had this, like, someone asked me if money was not a factor, what would you do for work? And I said, I would love to have something that can help a space for people to we call basically be who they are on whatever they want. Because I want to be that example of you can be anything you can want to be if you put your mind to it. So, which is part of why I tried so many things because I want to be able to bring back that to the people that don't have it. They don't have the financial resources, the means, the knowledge, or connection. Because that's you want to make sure that everyone has a level playing field, and I want to be able to help and have that impact on the people to have a level playing field with everyone else. So, little nugget there.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a platform that you can actually work towards. Just hearing like from your personal experience, I think people relate more to things when there's a personal touch to it. And,
Hmm.
a part of the reason as why Limitless came about is also just the fact that I felt like people don't share their organic stories at the
Yeah,
scale that I would love to see. Like a lot of people, I was in a cab once, and this cab driver told me something that has stuck with me for the rest of my life. People hate each other because they don't know each other.
mm,
The moment you start to get to know someone and understand their story, your guard just goes from here to like basically being non-existent because now
yeah,
they're sharing a facet of themselves that they normally don't have the space to. And all we're trying to do on this platform is curate a space where people can be seen, heard in a very authentic and organic way. Because I believe one day, 5 years down the line, there's a kid who moved to Vancouver and realized, oh, this is what they said about Vancouver and how it's hard to build a community. How can I go differently? You see, it just came from a story, but the
yeah,
impact of that can go to extend a different culture in for generations. At least that's how I'm thinking, right?
yeah.
You have to start small and you have to start like one person at a time. My boy the other night told me it's better to have like an army of 100 loyal men than 1,000 followers who don't mess with you, right?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's kind of like the concept that I was like, oh, whoa, like that allows me to see this platform more than just like the views or the all these other things that metrics that actually matter. That's not what matters. What matters is did
Hmm.
somebody listen and actually take a message from it to positively impact their life, to be able to
Yeah.
connect themselves to other people and inspire other people. That's the whole point, bro. So
Mm.
I don't want to take too much of your time, bro, but like I was super grateful that you jumped on the
Hey,
pod.
man, my pleasure.
One of the things that I try to do before we end, it's this thing that I do. It's a one word answer. I basically ask you some. It all boils down to, and then you give me a one word answer, and you tell me why you selected that answer. And then the other thing is, we ask our guests to nominate a new somebody from their circle that they think would be a good fit for this pod. But you don't have to share that with the public. You just gotta share that with me. So because I want to ruin the surprise because they got to tune in for number three. But it all boils down to is just like a one word and then why you chose that word. So if I'm gonna ask you, Kofi, it all boils down to
Mm. It all boils down to charismatic.
Mm.
I know first word. Yeah, you know what? No, it all boils down to authenticity. Because I feel like throughout our whole life we're looking for our authentic self, and we try so many different things to be who we're not, and what we're trying to be. But at the end of the day, we come back to the original. We are who we are when we start. We lose sense of that, and then we come back to that. So if we stay authentic throughout, we don't have to come back searching for it. We are who we are. So it all boils down to being authentic.
You heard the man. We are who we are. Oh man, Kofi, man, that was pleasure. I'm
It's a
glad you
pleasure.
came through. I'm happy I got to see this side of you. Even as somebody who knows you, there's so many things that I've learned today. I had no idea, and I'm like, whoa, maybe it's time you do better as being a friend because it shouldn't take a pod to get to know like somebody who's openly welcomed you in his life, shared a couple moments together, and I feel like it's just only going to grow. So thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you for being vulnerable and honest. This is
My
just the
pleasure.
beginning. If you want to jump in again, hey, feel free. We're gonna host you, no problem. We got more to talk about, but yeah, take your time to think about who you want to kind of like pitch to Limitless as a lead, and then after
Yeah,
that, we can keep this thing going.
awesome,
Final
man.
thoughts. Final thoughts. What you got? What you got for the listeners?
Man, I don't know. I think this is a great podcast, great platform for people. There's so much we can dive into, and like this conversation is what an hour. We could probably talk about this for 6 hours if we wanted to, 24 hours. There's so many nuggets and facets of people's lives and experiences, mine and even yours, that we can put on here for people to understand how powerful they can have an impact on them. So just one thing that I would say is don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try. Like, even if, like, remember I told you, why not? Because it really is, why not? What's the worst that can happen?
Nothing.
What's the worst that can happen?
I
Nothing.
mean, nothing. Nothing.
Just give it a try. Give it a try. Whatever it is you want to do, just give it a try.
Well, bro, that means a lot. We appreciate the fact that you see the vision. You've trusted the vision by actually showing up and being a part of it. So thank you for the words of affirmation because that's the only way. What we're gonna do, we're gonna keep going. That's
Yep.
it. So y'all heard the man, Kofi, episode number 2. It's curtains.